But he's coming over with Shock One. They're going to be playing at Menu Mag's second birthday at 519. It's going to be a massive event, so we're going to have a little chat to him now. Are you there?
Yeah, mate. How you going?
Yeah, good. Thanks yourself.
Not bad.
Tired.
What's the time over there now? Your time?
It's 5:30 a.m.
5:30 a.m. I'm sorry for getting you up so early, man.
That's right. It's usually closer to my bedtime, so whole deal.
So just kicking straight into it, where did music start for you?
Well, I was in a kind of multimedia and graphic design and art course in high school back in like 2000 for year 12, and I was doing all like the art and graphic side of things, and a mate of mine just gave me a Bad Company CD inside the machine, and I got really hooked on it. And he saw me chopping beats. I'd started chopping beats up in the audio track of like a video editing program, and he kind of laughed to himself and said, "Hey, come around to mine and check out all this software." And I went there and didn't go to sleep that night. Made like 3 really crappy generic dance tracks, but yeah, that's pretty much how I started doing it. And I went out to a couple of gigs, saw people playing tunes out, and I actually made the mistake of thinking that DJs were actually playing live music, like, you know, of their own. So I thought, I better go make my own so I can do that. And I just went home and spent a few years making
a few people always ask us, like, "Oh, you're playing your own music?" I'm like, no, this is other people's music. I wish I made this track.
I wish I had that mentality to go out and
I
made that.
I made that mistake, and that's just how I started producing. And then the first set I played out, I think it was like all my own stuff, and I just got into it like that, basically by making a mistake. I turned into a producer, so that's how I got started.
I guess it worked well for you.
Yeah, it was the best mistake I've ever made.
All right, what has inspired you over the years that you've DJ'd and produced? And
what keeps you motivated and going?
Yeah, I think I got into like techie drum and bass, like, you know, Bad Company and Conflict, Ed Rush Optical, all of that sort of stuff when I was a kid. I was also into like a lot of metal and punk, but over the years I think I've kind of got into a lot more other stuff, like quite into house, like Eric Prydz, Daft Punk, stuff like that, and I started listening to a lot of old like weird synth music, like Vangelis and stuff like that.
Nice.
Really, just anything that's interesting musically or production-wise, I get into literally everything. So. Also, I think as a DJ, because I was a producer first, so as a DJ, now it's like, you know, you go play something out and the crowd's all like vibing and you're like feeding back off each other, and then like that makes me want to go back and get in the studio and stuff now. So I think that's like a big inspiration for me as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
So what was it like working with Shock One and other artists and like collaborating with them?
Yeah, I think working with Shock is probably, we both say it's the easiest collaboration we've ever had to deal with. Like, you know, I read about a lot of guys like, you know, apparently arguing, yelling at each other in the studio, everything, and we just kind of like, that never happens. It just sort of clicked from when we first started. Like, I think it was 2007. We decided to make a tune together. We didn't actually know each other, like only spoken to each other a couple of times, and it just sort of worked, because it did. I guess like, you know, you've kind of just got to let each other, if you think you've got an idea, let it play out in the studio and not be like, hey, hurry up, man. Like, kind of got to give each other space, you know, room to breathe, I guess. Yeah.
And just, let each other work as everyone works. Everyone works differently.
Yeah. What have you got planned for Menu Mag's second birthday? Like, when you come over, what
can people expect?
Yeah, what can people expect to hear from you while you're here?
Well, I like to mix it up a bit, especially, I guess, like tempo-wise, and like bounce around a bit, especially like between dubstep and drum and bass. Also throw in like some electro house as well, but I always keep it kind of tailored towards the the bass heavy end of things, but yeah, I don't really discriminate when it comes to subgenres or anything like that. Like if it goes, I'll mix it together. So yeah, I'll just be playing a couple of new bits that I've been working on, like some dubstep and a couple of house bits as well, I guess. So yeah, a bit of everything, really.
Sounds good. And last question in the serious part. What can we expect in the future? Artists that you're working with, or any projects you're working on at the moment? Are you allowed to name drop, or is it very hush-hush?
Yeah, bit of both. Cause, yeah, I mean, I had my EP at the start of the year, and then Crucify Me by myself and Shock One's kind of, we're still riding off that at the moment. But later in the year, I've got some dubstep stuff I'm working on, so hopefully maybe another EP that'll all be dubstep. But also working on some kind of more hush-hush stuff.
Alrighty, we won't get into that then.
But yeah, some house stuff, maybe under a different alias. So yeah, I guess try and spot it, see if you can sell it to me or not.
Alright, awesome. Well, thank you very much for having a chat with us. Been really appreciate.
Cheers for waking up at 5:30 in the morning just to have a chat.
Yeah.
We're going to jump into this track now. It's your own track. Would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, it's Phetsta. You're listening to Kyle and Adam on Up FM, and this is my track, Run You Down.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Cheers for that, man.